Hello, back again. This time building a red house. I'm not really going to talk much about it because I'd rather talk about something else. So today I'm going to talk about family. 'Cause I had a little Skype with my family today and made me miss them a little bit. Only a little bit, not much. So yeah, I thought I'd have a little talk about my family today. So most of the time when I miss them, it's whenever something funny happens, because I have to say, like, my family, they are quite funny. Not to anyone else, but to my sense of humour. We all kind of have the same sort of sense of humour. So that's what I miss most about them from, being away and stuff. And we're also close together as well. Like, where I grew up, it's a tiny, tiny village near Reading, and everyone lives there. My uncle has a house there, my aunt has a house there, my grandparents live there, my brother lives there, my mum lives there. It's like my family have taken over this village. It's literally like my family are everywhere. But the reason why I think of them when funny things happen is because we do a lot of pranks on each other. I mean, to the point where a lot of people would think that we're quite cruel, which in comparison we probably are, but I wouldn't really have it any other way because it's just so funny. I think we all have a very similar sense of humour, and I'm very aware that we're very different to a lot of families. Like, most families, their idea of a prank is with a whoopee cushion or something. But my family, our idea of a joke is yeah, I took a shit on their bed kind of thing. That's we're pretty sick, really. We're not very nice to each other. But we kind of have this this ethos, is that the right word? Ethos that anything's worth it for a laugh. If it gets a laugh, it's always worth it, unless we're getting into murder territory, in which case that's a different story. But otherwise, anything goes. So, yeah, I thought I'd share a little story with you, which still to this day makes me chuckle. It's a very old story, but it's one of my favourites. It's about my brother and a prank we played on him. So before I tell you that, I will just set the tone by explaining that he does deserve it. He's a dickhead. So my brother, he also believes that anything is worth it for a laugh. So if he sees an opportunity to offend someone, even if it doesn't even go with what he believes in, he will do it just for the sheer reaction. So, tiny little example, he used to work for a delivery company. Obviously I won't tell you the name of the company, but it rhymes with Shmoo PS. And he had to deliver a parcel to this community building, and the building itself wasn't owned by this group, but they were holding now I don't know how true this is, but he says it was not a women's rights thing, but it was something to do with feminism. I don't know what it was, but it was something along the lines of feminism, so there were just women there. So my brother knocks on the door to deliver the parcel, sees this opportunity, and this little lady answers, and she's like, "Oh, hello," and he literally straight away is like, "Oh, hello, I've got a parcel here, I just need a man to sign for it, please." So obviously this woman is looking at him really shocked and is excuse me? And he's like, yeah, I just need a man's signature, really, just for this parcel. So the more women come out, and they're clearly quite disgusted, and they're like, "Excuse me?" And my brother still pursues it, and he's like, look, I'm not looking for any trouble here, I'm just trying to do my job. Sooner you get a man signed for this parcel, the sooner I can get on about my business. I'm not sure what happened in the end, but he doesn't work there anymore. So that's just an example of the lengths he will go to. And believe me, I know my brother. I've known him all of my life. He's a bit older than me. He's not anti-feminism or anything like that. He would go against his own beliefs, to be honest, if it meant that it would offend someone or get some kind of laugh, because he only lives to amuse himself. So anyway, the point of that mini story was to prove that he really deserves everything that happens to him, basically. So we're having this family barbecue, and I mean, this was a long time ago. This is probably about 10 years ago, so he would have been probably about 20 at this point. So we were all at my aunt's house in the garden, but my brother wasn't there. He was running late, as usual. So my uncle hears my brother pull up in the the driveway and is like, right, everyone, I've just thought of something funny. Whatever I say, go along with it. So everyone is like nodding their head. Even my like 85-year-old little great nan is like, yes, yes, anything you say. So we're all like, yeah, okay. So my brother comes out in the garden as usual, like with his little swagger walk, like, all right, what's going on, all right? And my uncle just like pulls this sad face and is like, well, not really. And my brother's like, oh, why, what's wrong? This is when my aunt steps in and is like, oh, we've just had a bit of trouble, that's all. So my brother's like, what do you mean, a bit of trouble? What's going on? What do you mean, a bit of trouble? And my uncle's like, well, I told my friend that I was having a family barbecue, and he turned up. So my brother's like, yeah, go on. And my uncle's like, well, it was not the kind of party he thought it was going to be. And so my brother's intrigued, and he's like, oh, what do you mean? So my uncle goes, well, he turned up with a bag full of cocaine, and we told him this is a family barbecue, all right? It's not the place to be taking cocaine. So my brother is like, oh my God. So my aunt is like, I know. And in a fit of rage, he threw the cocaine everywhere, which is what all this white powder is on the grass. Now, there was white powder on the grass, but it was not cocaine. The white powder on the grass was ant killer, which my aunt had poured on the floor a couple of minutes before my brother arrived. So my brother is like eating this all up, and he's like, oh shit, oh my God, what are we going to do? And my aunt's like, well, we're going to have to end the barbecue because it's all over the floor and none of us can clean it up. My brother was like, why? My aunt goes, well, we're all too scared. Will you do it? So my brother kind of like pauses for a minute and he's like, well, yeah, I suppose I could. Then before I know it, the rest of my family are all like, oh my God, would you? My brother's like, yeah, I'll take care of this, don't worry. So we all evacuate into the conservatory, and my brother like grabs the Hoover, plugs it in the conservatory, takes it out in the garden, and we're all just sat in the conservatory pissing ourselves laughing, looking through the window to see my brother hoovering the grass to get all of the cocaine up with his t-shirt, with his face tucked into his t-shirt as he's doing it, filmed it, streamed it on Facebook, obviously, standard. And then as the night went on, we still didn't tell him that it was just like ant killer all along. So as the night goes on, people are making comments, like my mum is like, oh, are you sure you're all right? You're looking a bit pale. I mean, there was a lot of coke there. And my brother's like, yeah, I feel all right. But then as the evening goes on, more and more he's like, oh, no, you come to think of it, I am feeling a bit funny. By the end of the night, he was acting like he was really high, when we know he couldn't have been, because all he did was hoover up a bit of ant killer. And then at the end of the night, we told him, and he was really pissed off. And still to this day, I mean, I am not going to tell him about this YouTube channel, because he will be furious if he finds out I've ever shared this story, because he's always been like, if you tell anyone about this, I will fucking end you. So, yeah, I'm definitely not going to tell him about this channel, but that's something he's quite embarrassed about. I think he felt really hard done by that joke. But, like I said before, he deserves it. This is a man who will do anything to amuse himself. He's a father of 3, and he's either the worst parent in the world, or he's discovered the ultimate parenting hack. Because instead of actually teaching his children things, he instead decided to buy a Chucky doll, you know, like the horror film Chucky, and he just leaves it around the house at random places. Or like he'll put it in his wardrobe and he'll be like, oh, Jakey, what's in Daddy's wardrobe? Just to scare them, and they're only young. So now he doesn't have to just wait till Christmas to be like, oh, Santa will tell you off. He literally will be like, do what I say, otherwise Chucky's gonna come out to play. And the kids shit themselves. So like I said, I don't know whether he's actually a bad parent or whether he's just discovered the ultimate parenting hack. I mean, you could argue either way. But the moral of the story is, we played a prank on him and he fucking deserved it. And it's still something we talk about to this day. So, yeah, that's pretty much the story that is the ultimate memory of family. Whenever I think about my family, I usually think about the horrible things we do to each other, and that one's usually the forefront of my mind. And even still to this day, 10 years later, people will still make jokes about it. Another little nugget about this, which is especially cruel, is that at the time he was texting this girl, and the night that we had the barbecue, my uncle changed his number to this girl's number on his phone. This is so cruel. And texted my brother and said, "Can we do anal later?" My brother replied saying, "We will see." So now, 10 years later, my family will often just say to him, hey, we will see. And it drives him mad. Anyway, that's the end. Thanks for watching. If you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please, I need the help. I'm desperate. Thanks very much.